you'll see they're saints saved by grace as well. Culturally, we're going to relate to these guys, so we're going to have to tease out the ideas of autonomy, authority, and arrogance. And when we do that, it will mean that we will start to realize that we are going to have to live a particularly foolish-looking way in our current cultural situation. The foolish glow of the message of the cross will ever be over us, as verse 18 says. But we've been called to be fools of Christ, to live as the people of God. And that is the third way in our culture. And very quickly, I just wanted to tease this out because we can go two different extremes, and we sort of thought about this a bit during Daniel. We can go and be those who are in Corinth and culturally look exactly the same as our world, or we can go to be those who are in Christ, and I mean culturally Christian, religiously and unhelpfully separatist, let's say. So when I think of that, what I'm saying is that we are set apart, but then separate completely, almost protective. In an attempt, it seems to protect ourselves from the world, we also shut out the world in fear of any sort of infection. We put ourselves in lockdown to make sure that we're never going to contract that stuff. That's not living in the power and freedom of the gospel, promoting that and pursuing it. And that also puts a burden on us that last week, remember Viv? Come to me. That's a burden, a religious burden that's just not the way of Christ. But then there's the in Corinth side. We become cultured, and we want to be cultured to the extent that there is no difference between, the church and Corinth, that the two are one and the same. But what does he call them? To the church of God in Corinth, sanctified in Christ Jesus, called to be his holy people, in Corinth and from Corinth, right? Third way, contextualized. This is the way that Christ lived. This is the way that Paul lived. This is the way that you and I are going to live, right? We do it different. We do live different. We live a set-apart life. Sanctified saints in Christ, in fellowship with him. Different and therefore distinct to our culture and to the world around us. We will do money different. We will do sex and sexuality different. We will do parenting and gender differently. We will see those things differently because of who it is that directs us. Marriage and family will be different. Generosity and hospitality will be different. We then live within the tension of all of this. At times that will be foolish to our world. We will be slamming on the brake, right? Look like we're driving on the wrong side of the road, but we do all of that somehow in Corinth, from within. Contextualized lives that transform culture from within. We need heaps of people in Christ, in Corinth, as tradies, chippies, plumbers, gardeners, foremen, educators, so teachers, professors, whatever it is, mums and dads at the moment, grandparents, carers. And as families, we need to be different. We need people who are lawyers and business owners and neurosurgeons and nurses and GPs and MPs and all the Ps. We need people in these environments living as people who are in Christ, in Corinth. Those who work with the disadvantaged, the less able. Those who are going to uni students, going to TAFE, high school students. In our work, be it at Donut King, Macca's, or that other Qantas, let's say, wherever it is, in social clubs, in sporting clubs, in Christ, in Corinth, because then we become the neon light that redirects culture and points them towards the wonderful, foolish message of the cross, that they too can be saints. We are in Christ.